Dude, I think there was something wrong with those mangoes. Maybe I got a polar bear flu. Whatever it was, man. I've just been out of it this whole week, and it's been riding my tail all week to get this work done, and I've barely been able to get out of bed half the time. So, Internet, I apologize for yet another lazy week of programming. Do we need to poke Grover with a stick? He doesn't even look like he's moving.
He is being pretty still.
I hope you're doing alright.
Oh yes, I'm doing fantastic.
You didn't have the mangoes, did you?
No, I don't eat mangoes.
Live and learn. Welcome to PrinnyCast Roundtable for January 17th, 2014. We're a casual weekly show where we talk about what we've been up to and all the various gaming-related stuff over the last week. We're your hosts. I'm Chris. That usually is Grover. And this is Mike.
Hello.
And Ed is chatting with us through text messages. You'll still see some videos for various Kickstarter projects in the background. Check out the links below if you're curious about helping them or want to fund them. And already, in just a week, we've already got a ton of new bundles, and you can see what you can get for them in the background there, like Groupie's Capsule Computers Indie Bundle 3, Humble Indie Bundle X may be over about the time most of you will see this, but the newer games have been unlocked, so you can see what everything is there. And the weekly bundle is Bohemia Interactive with a ton of the Arma goodies, and a big batch of games over at Bundle Stars, the Brutal Bundle, and lastly is the Vapor Trail Bundle over at Indie Royale. And once again, we're changing up our format just a smidgen. We didn't quite get to our reviews that we were going to this week, but I won't point fingers at whose fault that was. So running out my usual games, pretty much Mountain Blade and the MMO browser Tynan, and there's not been really anything else. I think I played a round of Binding of Isaac, which is ironic because I understand you've been playing it all week.
I have been playing that game a ton. I've unlocked a lot of things. I've actually beaten it a few times. More often than not, though, I don't make it through a full playthrough before I die.
Yeah, it's a roguelike.
And it's very difficult.
Have you been up to anything else besides that?
Not really. I played some World of Warcraft. I actually did get into Diablo 3, but I only played it for like 30 minutes, and then I was like, meh. And that wasn't the beta. I'm actually looking forward to the new expansion. Because I did, like I said, download the beta, and it's pretty fun. I'm worried that if I spend a lot of time in the beta right now, then I'm not going to want to play it when it comes out.
It'll ruin it for you later.
Yeah.
Yep.
But, Diablo is supposed to be one of those games that you can just replay it and replay it and replay it. So I suppose if I wear myself out on it on the beta, then it's probably not going to live up to the expectations that I have set myself, hoping it will live up to.
So, still having some Prinny Plays technical issues, but they will return. Honest, guys. I mean, that's not all even the sickness stuff. I'm having some trouble with the capture card, and I could do some PC games, but want to make sure everything's in working order before I get back into them. Game News was supposed to get some new dynamic stuff like zoom-ins on the Prinnies while they're talking with a little mini newscast window for the video over their shoulder. But Vegas's zoom is making the art so painfully blurry and with some horrendous design with the keyframes and stuff that it wasn't going to be worth making everybody's eyes hurt for just a little change of perspective now and then. So I was hoping to add a little more pizzazz to the show, but I guess the new intro is the most it's going to get for a while. We were going to dig into our archive of topic ideas this week, but I think Game News, particularly one story, will merge in here because there's no way I'm going to get much animating done in this particular case. But so we start off with Square Enix has abandoned the Core Online streaming service that allowed gamers to play various titles like Hitman, Blood Money, and Mini Ninjas in a browser for free. You just had to sit through various commercial break advertisements or occasionally pay-to-play fees. The system began in August 2012 and ran a bit over a year before it was canceled, and the irony of that is it ended in late November of last year, and I'm not sure any news group even noticed until Square Enix's announcement this week. Then again, who even knew about this service at all?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
This is just the first I've ever heard of this.
I've never heard of it either, but I can imagine that playing a game and then having to sit through a commercial in between levels or something could be kind of jarring.
If the commercial was about the size of a load time,
I could actually okay, that's true. I didn't consider that.
It also depends on how good the streaming service is. That is something on Live we talked about last week had some issues with, so I don't imagine this was much better for that.
Trying to be a Sega channel with just a couple of games, huh?
And a few people leaving various companies this week, like Ouya founding member, I'm going to butcher this name in half, so blame it on the cold. Muffy Gadiali is moving on from his former position at Ouya. Blair Westlake of Microsoft, who is integral to bringing TV and movies to the various Xbox systems since 2004, but despite the Xbox One's ongoing push to be a TV box as well as a gaming one, he claimed he was no longer suited to Microsoft's change of direction.
That's odd.
Spin. And technically, Greg Street left Blizzard a few months ago, but he's been spotted as now one of the lead designers on League of Legends.
I actually did quite a bit of reading on that. He's been a lot more open about how he feels. Did you hear that on the mic?
Yeah, but...
He's been a lot more open about how he feels with Blizzard's games since he's left the company, which is to be understanding. It's understandable that he would feel like he can't say certain things as one of the leading game designer, because then people will take it as gospel.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he'll do pretty good in helping Riot balance out the champions a little bit better.
And one of the other changes that they made apparently this week was, and an overdue one if you ask me, it now requires an email verification for any and all account credential changes.
Oh, good.
So they're trying to beef up some security, and I'm really surprised. For as long as that game's been around, they haven't done that sooner.
That would be kind of a step one, I thought.
Ooh. Yeah, I don't even know if I should mention this on the show or not, but every time I cough, it's like a cattle prod down my spine, and I did a little bit of research online about it, and about the only people I could find that resembled this conversation at all were people with sports injuries for full contact sports where they had nerve damage. So I'm really hoping that this goes away when this flu bug mango thing does, or I could be in a lot of pain very soon for the rest of my life, because I'm already a chronic cougher. And not because I've ever smoked either. Go figure. And it's not asthma as far as I know. I don't know. Nerves, stress.
It's all that well water.
And then Nintendo's president Satoru Iwata, made a rather stunning announcement coinciding with him both saying that they were lowering expectations for Wii U sales even further and personally vowing not to resign and instead to pull through the start time. But then there was also this said that, quote, "We are thinking about a new business structure. Given the expansion of smart devices, we are naturally studying how smart devices can be used to grow the game player business." This could mean a lot of things. They've already said they had no intention for a long time of putting Mario and Zelda on like iPhones or anything for a long time. So this may not mean that, but they are talking.
Could be the first Game Boy phone.
I think that's probably what they're leaning to. They may be making their own smartphone line.
I'd probably buy it.
Just because it says Nintendo on it.
Yeah, I like other consoles too, but I'm a big Nintendo fan. I always have been.
Oh, they've always known how to make a good handheld.
Yeah.
Now, the face-held one, that didn't do so well. But the handhelds...
You messing with my galactic pinball?
Oh, yes I am. So, just a couple of quickies here before we get into the really deep stuff. Call of Duty Ghosts now has a DLC that will let you play as the famed scary killer Michael Myers on a special new map. Alright. A new live-action Tekken movie is in the works. This one will be directed by Pratya Pinkeu, I'm murdering names, of Ong Bak fame. So, even if it is a prequel to the alternate Universal stylings The Last Attempt, this could still be a good thing. And honestly, I'm one of those people that thought the Tekken and Dead or Alive movies were not that bad. I mean, compared to King of Fighters and Street Fighter, get off your soapbox. Oh crap, now I'm shorter. Anyway, not the only news for movies, as 20th Century Fox has bought the rights to make an epic franchise of movies based on the Magic the Gathering series. That could be interesting. Is there even a storyline to make out of that?
There is. There's actually several novels that have been written in the Magic universe. Most of it lately, of course, is going to be about the Planeswalkers rather than just the magic of the world or whatever.
I knew there was an overarching story, but I didn't know if there was enough you could actually make a character-based movie out of.
Oh yeah. There's a ton. Every expansion, every new block, if you will, has an overarching story to it. And when you buy the fat packs, you get a little bit of it with each one.
Yeah.
And more Chandra. If it's got Chandra, I'm all for it.
Oh no. Windows 9 will be shown in April. Anyone surprised they're ditching 8 so fast? Namco is bringing back the obscure arcade Wonder Momo for a new game. And then there's some unconfirmed news that Microsoft will be using Jen Taylor, the voice of Halo's famed AI program Cortana, to voice for a Siri-style voice search program for the Xbox One and Windows. Now, this has actually been a rumor since the Xbox One started, but this is from 2 different sources, as I understand, within Microsoft. So, apparently it's something that's very likely to happen, at least in a beta form, in the next couple months. Okay, here we go. It's a major courtroom drama lately. So the Court of Appeals denied Silicon Knights in their objection to the ruling of owing basically over $8 million in damages and court fees, and the circus that was the back-and-forth lawsuits between them and Epic Games that ultimately ended with 2 Human and X-Men Destiny to be pulled from digital downloads and all warehouse copies to be destroyed due to stolen technology. But with this final appeal denied, it seems like it's an end to the crazy tale and basically an end to Silicon Knights because there's nothing left for them to be able to do. And bigger than that, however, the Federal Trade Commission is overseeing that Apple will provide at least a minimum of $32.5 million in settlements for complaints that kids' app purchases could be done without parental consent, which doesn't sound like it was an accident to me, to be honest. But in one incident alone, a consumer reported that her daughter had spent $2,600 on an app Tap Pet Hotel, and this was not very uncommon from the sounds of it. So with this refund also comes that Apple's billing system is going to be changed, that it will no longer have this issue again. And again, I think Apple knew what they were doing, and I think they were hoping they could get away with it.
Well,
customer's a customer, right?
Yeah, but if you're going to give your kid an iPhone, you ought to make sure that it's smart enough to know that its butt's going to turn red if it does, any kind of financial damage to the family unit, so to speak. One of my bosses at work, one of their kids has an iPhone, and those kids know better. They know not to spend money on the Apple Store.
But okay, here's the big one. You thought the last one was big. But again, most of you have probably heard of this, and the Court of Appeals in D.C. struck down the FCC's order on internet neutrality. So enter the priceless quote from the court. Quote, without broadband provider market power, consumers, of course, have options. They can go to another broadband provider if they want to reach particular edge providers or if their connections to particular edge providers have been degraded. No, sir. I only have one provider out where I am, and I know I am not alone in this. I only have one choice. So, that obliviousness aside, which, like, Washington ever knows what's actually going on in the United States anyway.
Yeah.
For those who haven't followed or heard anything of this issue, here's basically what this means. Internet service providers can charge what they want, for the speeds that they want, they can block what sites they want, filter traffic how they want. I have a Yahoo, CNN, and Wired story open here, so I'll probably link those, at least the CNN story. That kind of will explain a little better about what all this means, because some of it is not necessarily negative. I mean, this is a really bad thing. You'll see on most comments anywhere that's talking about this, 9/10 of them are very negative and very angry with the court system for doing this, because we've already seen how the telephone companies have kind of ran over in Canada. And if you needed more proof, Netflix stock, and I'm sure others, Netflix is just the only one I've heard of, has taken a hit as investors are becoming uncertain for the future of internet-heavy services like streaming, which this is also bad news for these online-heavy consoles that we just got coming out.
Yep.
So
it's going to be bad for anything, really. Things like YouTube. You've already said Netflix, Hulu, of course.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine Twitch may even have some adverse effects if this isn't remedied. Of course, I expect the FCC to launch some kind of an appeal.
I'm sure. There's too many net neutrality supporters to let this die that easily.
Yeah.
But on one of these, I don't remember which one it was, but they made an excellent point. It could be really easy for these internet service providers to start offering packages. So you get the cheap internet, it gives you a certain speed, just like we're all used to, but you can't do anything more than like basic surfing or emails or something like that. Then you have a streaming package where you can, watch your YouTube, watch your Blip, watch your Justin TV, and Twitch and what have you. Then you'll have your gaming package where you can play video games with your internet. And so by the time you've bought into all of these packages for the same what you've already been doing, you're probably spending twice as much.
Probably.
And if you're wondering, hey, this kind of sounds familiar, yes, this is exactly what Dish and Cable and all the rest of those have done for all these years. It's the exact same thing. So is it evil? I don't know. It's crass.
I don't like it.
But yeah, we'll have to see how that changes things. I don't see any immediate changes, but man, you thought the SOPA crap was bad. They gotta find something every new January, February to ruin the internet's day, man.
Yeah, it's...
Every year.
They don't like free information. That's what they don't like.
Ah, well, except for the NSA. That's a whole other can of alphabets there. So, yeah, the links to at least the CNN story below, and I guess that was our Prinny show for this week, as messy as it is. You can follow us. You can follow us on Twitter at PrinnyCast. You can contact us with email at PrinnyCast@gmail.com, and you can find the rest of our links to YouTube and Twitch channels and all that stuff that we sadly have not been using a whole lot of, also down below. And
do Prinny's tweet?
Very good question. Well, I'm going gonna roll Grover into bed and see if he'll get feeling better, and we'll see you all next week.
See you next week.